Mandates! Mandates everywhere! And when I say mandates, I'm referring to the Archie Sonic series. For those of you who know or don't know, back in September 2013, around issue 252, the Sonic Archie series began as a reboot because of copyright issues with Ken Penders. And with that reboot came some restrictions from Sega in the form of mandates. Now, I tried to research these mandates somewhere around the internet. I couldn't find an official list from Sega themselves. However, from looking around in the Sega forums and whatnot, I did find some users who did manage to find some of the mandates and put them together. Now, these are supposed to be the best known mandates for the new Archie Sonic reboot. Well, I don't even know why we're calling it mandate. Just go ahead and call them restrictions, because that's basically what they are. And yeah, by the way, if they don't make any sense to you, that's because they really don't make any sense. There's a couple of them here, but I'm going to go ahead and read them off anyway. Number 1, game characters cannot have parents or relatives. Yep, so say goodbye to King Acorn and the rest of Sally's relatives. Say goodbye to Tails' parents and any hope of Manic and Sonia ever returning to the series. This next one always makes me giggle. Sonic cannot cry beyond what are known as manly tears. Yeah, that's some straight caveman shit right there. That's right, boy! Men don't cry! Men eat steak for breakfast, lunch, and dinner! Next up, the name Mobus cannot be spoken or mentioned as the name of the planet. This next one is actually the topic we're focusing on in this video today. None of the game characters can have a steady relationship. So keep that right there, because I'm coming right back to it. Amy cannot like anyone but Sonic. Oh, so you mean she's one-dimensional just like her video game counterpart? Thanks a lot, Sega. But if you think that stings, just wait till you look at the line below it. Sonic and Amy cannot date at all, as they will lose their dynamic. Ooh, I know y'all Son Amy fans are feeling smacked in the face. You still want to read the comics now? Huh? This next one is the height of making no damn sense. None of the game characters can have a character development unless approved. Oh boy. Pender's characters or locations or events cannot be mentioned or named beyond Verge references. No Sega character can die. Sonic always has to win. The Sega cast can't be implied to have aged to the point where they are now, i.e. there's a chance Sonic might not be able to be seen with the younger freedom fighters and comic origins or age further. Last one, the classic forms of characters can't be implied to be younger forms of the characters. Well, that was pretty much an attack on classic Amy using the Ring of Acorns. Yeah, I have a question. Who the fuck wrote these? This sounds like something old Sega Japan would come up with. Here's my take on these mandates. With the exception of maybe 2, they're all complete garbage. Here's what I'm not understanding. Sega is having a hard time keeping their fans happy or coming up with a good Sonic game that's actually good, yet they go and take the same failure policies from the games and force them on the Archie comic series. I can't understand the achievement in doing this. But yeah, I could go on and on about these mandates, but I'm not here for all of them. I'm only here for one, and that is the steady relationship issue, which is number 3. So I have a question for everybody. This question is only for the comics. Should dating be allowed in the Archie Sonic universe? Now, people have been asking me since the Archie Sonic reboot, have I been reading the comics? And unfortunately, I had to tell them no. It sounds like I might rant a lot on Sonic topics a lot, but really I feel like, unlike some fans, I don't really ask for a lot. And I'm not really a nitpicky player to begin with. I can play a game like Sonic 06 and never be fazed. On my Sega wishlist, there's only been 2 things I've ever really asked for. That the Freedom Fighters actually get to do something again besides just being the comics, and that Sally and Sonic continue their relationship. A lot of people don't know, I'm an absolute sucker for romance. And as a fan who greatly enjoyed the Saturn Sonic TV series, I absolutely adore seeing Sonic be with Sally. So for me to hear that the Archie Sonic series no longer permitted romance absolutely broke my heart. Mind you, before this series was reset, I was 20 plus years behind on the Sonic Archie series. I've only really ever owned 2 comics of the series. Everything that I know about the series mostly comes from internet research and talking with people on forums and whatnot. But now that there's a window of opportunity for me to get a fresh start, I can't bring myself to do it. I cannot bring myself to buy the new comics and keep up with the storyline. Yeah, I'm that disappointed with the decision. Now, see, here's my view on the situation when it comes to this particular Sonic universe. See, I'm an overall huge fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog Saturn Sonic TV series. And because the Archie series was originally based on that TV series, I feel when I read the comics, I should expect to see Sonic and Sally being together. See, I know there's people in the fan base who really don't like the idea of Sonic being with a girlfriend because they feel it slows his character down. Well, yeah, that's right, and it's also wrong. If we're talking about video game universe Sonic, then yeah, it'll probably hurt his character because he's an adventurer, a free spirit, and doesn't like to stay in one place. However, the Saturn Sonic / Archie Sonic is a little bit different because he never ventures far from home. You see, I don't hold video game Sonic to the same standards, but when it comes to Archie Sonic, I expect a little bit more leeway. He doesn't need a girlfriend, but it wouldn't hurt his character if he had one either. These are the types of things that separate the Archie Sonic series from the video game series. Relationships, character development, etc. I mean, unlike the video games, where else can you actually see two best friends, Sonic and Tails, actually fighting each other? Where Amy Rose is a bit more of a respectable character than her video game counterpart, who's a one-dimensional sex robot. And yes, Sonic is allowed to show emotion. That includes crying. I don't know about you or Sega, but the heroes I read about, I prefer that they show emotion when needed. I mean, what the hell is the point of reading when everybody is so goddamn flawless? Look, for anybody who doesn't like the idea or has mixed feelings about relationships in the Sonic universe, I'll tell you, all you gotta do is look back at the Saturn Sonic series. To this day, this is probably still one of the best examples on how to keep a storyline balanced, or how to keep a Sonic series balanced in general. Here is a series that kept it action-packed with just the right amount of comedy and a pinch of romance. Unlike the previous canon of the Archie comics, in this series, Sally and Sonic kept the love pretty light, and it wasn't always in your face non-stop. The most you usually saw was when one was hurt, they would give the other a hug to cheer them up, or when Sonic saves the day, Sally would give him a hero's kiss on the cheek. You didn't see a whole great amount of jealousy, breaking up, and they only really had 2 big kisses throughout each season. And what made this work as a bonus was the character personalities balanced each other out. So when somebody tries to tell me that relationships can't work out in the Archie comic series, I gotta look at them funny. Whether Sega likes it or not, there is a portion of the Sonic fandom that wants to see intimacy between certain characters. And I get the feeling that if I sat down now in front of Sega and I explained this till I'm blue in the face, nothing would get changed because when I'm looking at those mandates, it feels like they just stink of irrational. Now, unfortunately, you didn't get this balance in the previous Archie canon. Instead, what you got was relationship chaos, was multiple relationships, was breaking up, was relationship drama. It wasn't bad all the time, but a vast majority of it did cause a good number of issues in the original Archie Sonic canon. And it definitely did not help that the writers had their own personal agendas and favoritisms towards certain girls. And unfortunately for Sally, she became a victim of circumstances because of this. Instead of getting the level-headed one that appeared in the Sonic Saturn series, we ended up with a Sally Acorn who was an out-of-character fiery bitch. Thanks in part to 2 particular people. Ken Penders, the infamous former writer to the Archie Sonic comics who caused the copyright firestorm. The same man who was obsessed with Knuckles and seemed at times to have a personal grudge towards Sally Acorn and even tried to once kill her off. And former writer Carl Bollers, who was like an Amy Rose brat who managed to get in creative control. So you gotta know, that spelled disaster for Sally Acorn and her fans. When Carl and Ken Penders put their heads together, they basically did all they could to stomp the hell out of Sally Acorn's character. And unfortunately, they succeeded. And if you don't believe me, you should read the script Carl Bollers once had planned for the comics. It's some very enlightening shit. For this video, I'm only going to read Amy Rose's character portion, but I'll provide the link in the description below for those that want to read the rest of it. Title: Amy Rose, Sonic's potential love interest. Description: lives in Knothole City at Rose's orphanage and has undergone significant changes during the year Sonic was gone. We've never delved into how the Ring of Acorns transformed her, besides changing her look and giving her the hammer. Amy has greatly matured from the character seen in issues 114 Young at Heart, and even has her very own blue sports car called the Breeze. She's become an expert at wielding the hammer and uses meditation to tap into its full power. She has taken to using tarot cards that allow her to glimpse into the future and read destinies of others, like in the games. And these abilities make her a valued member of the Knothole Freedom Fighter Special Forces team. Although Sonic still tends not to give her the benefit of the doubt when in the field because he is used to dealing with the old Amy. They are constantly bickering, but could the tension mask something more? She will discover her true origins in the Archie title, The Little Planet, which would ideally establish and incorporate elements from the Sonic the Hedgehog CD when Amy first appeared. She will find herself stranded on a raft in the middle of the ocean with Sonic, and the two will share a kiss. This will lead to a period of denial, but eventually the two will give into their hormones. However, Amy and Sonic will keep their relationship a secret so Princess Sally doesn't find out. Well, let me go ahead and wrap this up. I'm almost out of time since I'm unable to go past 15 minutes right now. So yeah, I've said my piece on the relationships issue in the comics. It seems like nowadays Sonic is stuck in mutual, in which I call complete bullshit. Listen, there was never anything mutual about the Sonic fandom. This is a fandom that is split in 20 plus different ways, and if you try to knock down any of those walls, you invade one side's space and end up pissing that particular group off. And I know one of those groups are going to come out and say, oh, you're just a Sonally defender. What about the Son Amy fans? To which I say, what about them? We probably wouldn't even really be having Sonic couple issues in the comics right now had Amy not crossed over into this particular universe. The TV series that these comics were once originally based on, there was no pink hedgehog in it. Amy Rose has no business in this particular comic universe in the first place. Tell me if this is fair or not. Amy Rose, she gets to jump from video games to the TV shows, and she gets to jump into the comics. Meanwhile, Sally hasn't left the comics in 20 plus years. But if anybody ever considers placing Sally Acorn into a video game, they get bitched at. The only reason Amy gets to jump in every single continuity is because she is Sega of Japan's love child, and they spoil her to death. Let me say this before I end this video. Some people out there probably think I'm mean to Amy simply because I'm defending Sally Acorn. They think I'm a biased Son Amy Rose asshole. They're probably asking me, as much as you protect Sally Acorn, why don't you protect Amy Rose sometimes? Well, let me tell you point blank. This is Playfur Cinema. It's dedicated to all anthropomorphic female furry girls, including Amy Rose. If I felt that Amy Rose was one of those victim characters that gets abused by fans for no particular reason, I would be right here right now protecting her just like I protect Sally Acorn. But Amy Rose is not a character who needs protection. I repeat, is not a character that needs protection. If anything, she is a character that needs her character chopped down a couple of notches. And I find it absolutely heart-wrenching that people think that she is compatible with Sonic and bash Sally Acorn, who is a strong, independent, intelligent woman. So, with that being said, this is Jawbreaker with Playfur Cinema saying, it's not a better love story than Twilight. It's not, goddammit!